Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Jermaine Morgan TV. In today's episode, I'm actually going to start a series, knowing what to add to my bass line. I know that's a long title, but trust me, it's going to be a good one. So in today's lesson, we're going to be focusing primarily on learning chord functions, so stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back. If you've already been around for a while, you already know what to do. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, do me a huge favor. Press the subscribe button and also turn on my notifications so you know when I'm going live and you don't miss any of my content that I'm posting, because it's here to help you. As usual, if you find this video helpful, please give it a like and a share as well. Thank you guys as usual for being here. I really appreciate you. So jumping right into this lesson, I wanted to do something along these lines and start this series because lately I've been getting a lot more students with my one-on-one coaching calls, bass coaching calls, and I do have a few more spots available if you guys are interested in doing one-on-one bass lessons with me. Just go to the link below to learn a little bit more about how you can do that. One of the common themes that's been coming up with a lot of my students lately, which really prompted me to kind of do this whole series, is the idea of knowing what to play and when to play it, where to play it at, that whole thing. So I wanted to start, and one of the things I tell my students is really starting at the basic ground level of understanding, like the major chord. We're not talking about minor or getting into any of the advanced stuff today. We're really dealing on more of a basic level of understanding the chord functions, and I'm going to be dealing with the number system in terms of 1 through 7 to understand those chord functions. Before we jump into this, I do want to put out this disclaimer. You guys know I'm all about ear training and strengthening your ear, and I do feel like you spending time on an instrument through trial and error can help you to grow and develop your own sound as you learn this language, as music is a language. And I also understand that everybody doesn't learn the same way, and sometimes it's easier for some to get it than for others. And so if you're one of the ones that's kind of struggling, you have all this information, you're learning the theory, you've been on this bass for a little while, but you're just not putting it together, you don't know what to really put in the groove, you don't really know what to add. It's not necessarily about soloing, although some of these principles can be applied to soloing for sure, but just giving you some extra stuff to kind of add to the groove. Here's what I want to do. I want to just kind of show you guys the chord functions. So just starting with the basic ground level, we know if we're dealing with, and we're going to do this in the key of A today, if we're just dealing with the major chord functions all together, we know that the 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, 7 is diminished, and then we're back to 1. That's major. We already know that. Y'all are pretty sweet with that. But what I want to show you guys how to do is to start incorporating the chords just so we can start building a basic understanding of the chords. Now, when the chord is major, we're going to be using a major third. When it's minor, it's going to be using a minor third. And then what that simply means, the 3 here, that's a major third. But when we want to make it a minor third, just for the guys that don't know, we're simply flattening that note. So if this was my third, to make it minor, I just simply flat it, take it half step down, all right? So if I'm going to build these chords, just starting with a 2-note chord, I'm going to use this 1 and the 3. Okay? We're in the key of A, 1 and the 3. Now, I want to use this octave 3 because if you hear this here, it can be a little bit more clustered and you don't hear it as clearly. So what we bass players like to do is we like to take that 3 and move it up an octave. All right? So now it's a little bit more clear. You can understand the notes. You got a good bit of space in between each note so you can hear some other things happening. All right? So we're going to go through all of these chords based on the function of that chord. So starting with the 1, we know 1 is major. 2 is minor, that means we flat that third. 3 is minor, same thing, that third is flattened. 4 is major, 4 is major, so that third is going to be a major third. 5, same thing. That 5 is major, so that's going to be a major third. 6 is minor, so that's a minor third. That 7 is diminished, but it's still going to have a minor third. Back to the 1. All right? And that's just your basic 2-note chord. So now you have that. So you can create a little groove and start playing around with that. That's just a good way to exercise. One thing I do like to do is I like to sometimes create grooves with my exercises just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I want to take a time real quick to mention this app called Scale Junkie that you can also use to practice scales. If you're brand new to bass and you want something to help you kind of work out learning your scales, it's a free app created by my friend C-Dub, but it's called Scale Junkie and it's at the App Store. You can find it on Android and Apple. So yeah, be sure to download that app. It's a good practice tool for you bass players and any musicians for that matter to work on your scales. All right, so back to this. So the next thing I want to show you guys, again, we're just dealing with the ground level, the basic level of understanding these chord functions. So now we know 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, and so on. So the next thing we want to do is let's build some chords with the triads. The notes we're going to be using is the 1, the 3, and the 5. All right, so now that we have that 1, 3, and the 5, we're going to build the chords based off of that. But I don't want to use this 3 right here. Once again, I want to move it around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the notes around here. So I'm going to go 1, 5, and I'm going to put my 3rd up here again. So basically like the chords we had before, but now we're just adding the 5 in there. And so when we go, that's the 1 is major. So when we go to the 2, it's minor. You still have that minor 3rd. That's a good way to catch that chord. Just simply barring, and barring means just laying your finger down across the bar. Same thing. And move to that major 3rd for the 4 chord. Same thing for the 5 chord. 6 chord is minor. Now to that 7 chord, the only thing that changes when we play that 7 chord, we're going to sharp that 5 and we're going to flat that 3rd. It's so almost just like that minor, but when we put our 5 in there, instead of this, we're going to make it sharp. Back to the 1. And that's another way that we can do it. I like to do that. When I go to that 6, I like to sharp the 5 on that 6 because it's just it's a nice sound. You got options. And now to the 7 and back to the 1. And I know that's elementary for some of you guys, but again, I just want to give you the ground level of what you can use in terms of building these chords, in terms of getting an understanding of the chord functions. But as we move throughout this series, we're going to talk about how we can start stripping this stuff down and even getting more detail and understanding how we're going to use it. As a matter of fact, if you want to hang around for the monthly membership lesson, I'm going to get into more detail on how we can even take this much and start moving around with this bass line. So I invite you to become a monthly member if you haven't already done that. Some of you guys already know this, but there's over 150 lessons available to help you to continue to grow. So be sure to check out the link below. I will link that below in this video so you can check out the monthly membership lessons. I'd love to have you as a part of my monthly membership lessons. But if not, I will see you guys on next week. We will move to part 2 of this series. Thank you as usual for being here. I'll see you guys. I'm out. Peace.